going, buddy? Is it going, little dog? You scratch him up. Scratch him up. Is it happening? Looks like it's happening. Oh, my camera's way off. There we go. Ish. Maybe a little bit. Maybe like 1 inch that way. There we go. Okay. Sips. Bam. Oh. I think the button's in the wrong spot on this shirt. Oh well. Hello everyone. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's GME earnings day. GME, of course, absolutely crushed earnings once again. They beat the estimates by 62%, 62.8%, somewhere in there. Coming out 25 cents a share. A little bit under what I was thinking it was going to be. I thought it would be closer to 30, but hey, they still beat it. Revenue was up by 22%. They did almost $1 billion in revenue in quarter two. And then they announced warrants as a dividend to shareholders. So every 10 shares of GameStop you will receive one warrant. If you have the bonds, the convertible bonds, you will receive 3.4-ish, depending if you've got 2024s or 2034s, whatever they are. You'll receive 3.4-ish for every $1,000 in bonds you have. In total, it'll be about 59 million shares, so 59 million warrants that go out and could potentially dilute the float by about 59 million shares. The strike price will be $32 a share. I find that kind of interesting. It will eventually trap the shorts sometime between now and when the dividend goes out, which is on October 3rd. The stock price started flying after earnings, and then quickly the announcement for the warrants came out, and the stock price went and just kind of plateaued at 24 and change. This can be seen as dilution, so that's a dilution. So that probably is why the initial climb of the stock didn't go any further. I kind of wish Ryan would just wait a day, but whatever. But we'll probably see the stock price steadily climb between now and October 3rd overall, simply because shorts are going to have to go out and they're going to have to find warrants. So the value of the warrants will go up, which will cause the value of the stock to go up, which will cause, forced close of positions. If they can't provide the warrants, they'll have 90 days after the warrants are issued to make good before they get automatically liquidated. I'm not sure if they have other deals with lending of shares or anything like that, which would cause that to go faster. That might be written in some contracts, from the lending contracts. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. This is one of the things that companies do to make sure the stock price, gets bolstered. It's happened with other companies in the past. And so it's going to be a little bit of a slow climb probably between now and October 3rd, and then whatever happens after that. So yeah. Other news, Israel blew up a building in Doha, Qatar, and which housed Hamas leadership who are negotiating a ceasefire. Just boom. Qatar's really pissed. The United States apparently only found out about it while the missiles were in the air. And then Trump claims that he called the leadership in Qatar and warned them that there was a strike coming, but it was too late, and then boom. Also, what else happened today? I can't remember everything I put in there, Monkey. I can't remember what I put into the yield thing here. Oh yeah, and Nepal is in like a full-blown revolution right now. They've been dragging ministers and prime ministers and heads of state and their wives and just beating them to death in the street. That is how revolutions can end up. If you piss off the population enough, they will beat down the fences, storm the walls, and then tear your limbs off. And every nation on earth should be aware that has a potential, right? If things get really bad, that's the logic. that's what you do. So yeah, the video footage is pretty horrifying. It is. You do not want to piss off somebody who is trained as a Gurkha. So everyone right now, Gurkhas are very scary people. They're the scariest, probably the scariest warriors on earth. They're terrifying. And so yeah, don't if you have a population that has a whole bunch of Gurkhas that are all pissed off, well, they're going to tear your limbs off. And that's that. Monkey, anything to add? No? Okay. Well, let's do the thing. Ready to do the thing? Let's do the thing. I gotta click the who's your what's it? Bam.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, boom. That's off. Intro's off. We're off. Okay. Where are we starting? We're starting at Murph and Turf. First to comment, first to like. Oh, I forgot to turn on the chat from the multi-stream here. All right, multi-stream is on, so if you're over on Twitch, I can see your chat now. Murph and Turf, first to like, first to comment. Anything we got to do with Nub? Time to hold warrants till phone numbers? Murph and Turf, Houston, explain this dividend warrant like I'm a financial idiot because I am one. A warrant is basically a call option for a single share. It will have a strike price and often will have an expiration date. So if you are given a warrant as a dividend, it gives you the opportunity to purchase a share of GameStop at $32 a share. Now, GameStop is well below $32 a share. So you cannot exercise the warrant until the strike price gets above, or till the price gets above your strike price. This is basically Ryan Cohen saying, I expect the share price to go above $32 a share. Cool, because it's been a while and we kind of need that. And everyone who has one of these warrants will be able to get one share of stock at $32. So if the stock price goes to $50, you're getting a screaming deal on those warrants. So those warrants will be tradable. And generally they'll have a premium plus whatever the delta is between the strike price and the eventual price. So you have a premium if it's below $32, just like you have call option premiums below $32. But if the warrant goes above, or the price goes above that warrant strike price, you will generally have about $1 for every dollar it is above the strike. So if the stock price goes $50, you will have an $18 warrant, more or less, plus a premium. So it can mean cash for shareholders in this way, or it can allow them to load up on even more shares to add to their quiver. If there's lots of shorts, as we think there are, these shorts will have to provide the warrants as dividends for anyone they borrowed from or created naked shares for. I should say. So if you borrowed 1 million shares of GameStop to go sell in the market, you're going to have to come up with 100,000 warrants or face liquidation by your lender. Right? So you're going to have to go out there and have to go buy this stuff, which could cost millions of dollars by the time this thing gets executed. If the stock price is above $32 by October 3rd, you're looking at a lot of money and basically a giant loss on whatever it is you made by shorting the stock. If you shorted the stock at $27 and the stock price is now above 32, plus you got to go out and find the warrants, you're toast. So this is a way to sort of wipe out anyone who might be above water on shorting this stock right now. Because remember, there are folks that shorted this stock at $80 last year, right? So there's some guys out there that have plenty of room to run. If they now have to provide warrants, and those warrants, the premium of those warrants get very expensive because people don't want to sell them, they could lose out on anything they had that was profitable at that time. So it can be juicy. It's just going to be a little bit of more of a slow burn than waiting for a gamma on options or a swap date, etc. And we're just waiting. So I think my calls, I got 24.5, so I think they're going to be in the money probably tomorrow and worth selling. So I'll make a little bit of money off of this. That'll be nice. And then I'll figure out where to go from there. I think there'll probably be initial kind of push down, and then it will be a slow climb back up. That's how I'm picturing this over the next month. Mike Martin was third. Dead Bass, I'm so glad I got busy at work and forgot the GME calls. Sarcasm. Dead Bass here for the warrants discussion. Over here. Right high or rate high or rate hey. A guy named The Real Dave from Reddit predicting this 1 year ago. Lol. Yeah, I saw that post. Someone sent it to me. Let's see if I can find it here. Was it sent to me? Can't remember if people sent it to me on Reddit, if they sent it to me on this. No, it is not that. No, it is not that. No, it is not that one. Crap. Where did I know one of you sent it to me? I know one of you did. Is it not there? If it's not there, it might be over on Reddit. Or it's on Blue Sky. Okay. Mod mail? No, not chat. It wasn't in mod mail. It would have been in chat. Nope. Nope. I got a lot of people sending me the boreholes that was talked about in the chat yesterday in the glaciers. Nope. 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 That wasn't there, so maybe it was Blue Sky? For crying out loud. Okay, go there. Go to Blue Sky now. Let's see what's happening over here. Go chat. Oh, for crying out loud, where was it? Goodness gracious. All right. Well, now I can't find it. Okay. It was a notification. Someone sent me notifications. Maybe they tagged me in something. If they did, I cannot find it. Oh my gosh. I have 8 billion stupid social media accounts. Now I can't find anything. Anyway, there was a guy a year ago wrote about this with another company. The stock price went from $23 to $32 as a result of the warrants. His estimations was it would probably be a warrant for every 5 shares. This case, it was a warrant for every 10, so that part was off. The prices are pretty spot on because the price was at $23 and the warrants are at $32, which is very telling. If someone can find it, send it to me, or if a mod has it, throw a link in there. Yeah, wherever that thing is. Maybe if I go to search. Oops, nope, that's not how you spell. There. And the link would be in here. Okay, I can't see it anywhere. Oh, for crying out loud. Anywho, it's there, I tell you. Hot Bucket Rebel, the Real Dave. I should just search the Real Dave, right? I should search the Real Dave on Reddit, and that would get us what we need. Duh, why don't I just do that? The Real Dave. The Real Dave. People. The Real Dave. Boink. Okay. Posts. And nope. The Real Dave has 3 posts from 14 years ago. Okay, so then that's not who it was. I don't know. Fucking send me the link if you have a link. Okay. Hotback Rebel, any BBY news? I've been out of town. Just saw Otani hit 2 home runs at Camden Yards. Nice. No BBBY news that's impactful at the moment. So we're still twiddling thumbs on that again. Lisa saw delicious warrants, $32 for October 26th. Yes. $30 to October 26th. The warrants are good. Will be good for a year, right? From October this year to October next year. And Lisa saw how many warrants will Kitty get? How much cash does he need to exercise them? Well, he's got 9.1 million shares. So if we go to, there's calculator intro. Bam, boink. Oh, I gotta fix that one. Oh, there we go. I gotta put the boobies in there. There we go. All right. Okay, so that's there. That's oh, I gotta turn the intro off before I do that. Go to scene, do the calculator. I gotta bring back up here. Calculator. Bam. Shaboom. There we go. Okay, so he has 9.1 million shares, right? And he'll get one for every 10. So that'll be 910,000 warrants, right? And at $32, he's going to need 29 million bucks, which he has, to exercise all those warrants. So he can do it. He's got the technology. $29,120,000 in order to exercise all those warrants. So he can definitely do that and up his holdings, or sell them for cash at some point and make a lot of money. So good for him, right, Monkey? Oh, I think she's dreaming. She's twitching. That dog is dreaming right now. She's a dream machine. All right. Bam. Oh, I did 12.91. That's right. Too excited. Too excited. The nighttime one. Turn that off. Doink. You dweeb. And there we go. All right. Polestar, yo. It's an alert. Well, Houston, Polestar. So Nepal chaos. Weird how they're framing it all on Gen Z. But what is the end goal of these protests? Nepal is a nation that is landlocked, largely dependent upon minerals and tourism. And they have a decent sized population for how small they are in land area, and there's pretty high unemployment, especially among men between 18 and like 45, which is the if you want to see how a revolution happens, you ensure that men of fighting age are unemployed. Tunisia, where the Arab Spring began in 2010, had 50% unemployment for that demographic, 18 to 45. It is an incredibly educated population. We had people with master's degrees in engineering who were selling baskets of fruit on the side of the road because they couldn't find jobs anywhere. And so when that young man lit himself on fire in front of the police station in, was it December 2010, sparking the Arab Spring, all those unemployed men were like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. Fuck it. And they went and they tore the police officers apart who were clamping down on the population for Ben Ali. And seeing the success of those young men just tearing apart the leadership structure of Tunisia sparked the similar aspects in Egypt, in Algeria, in Syria, all across the Middle East, in North Africa. And the sad thing was that the only true success for the Arab Spring came from Tunisia, where it organically began. And Tunisia had the educated population and the competent people to build a democracy out of the ashes of that. Every other nation just either clamped down or got a new dictator who, does awful things. We will see what comes out of Nepal's junta here. Not necessarily junta will be a military takeover, but out of the revolution that's happening. Because you do need political structure and leadership and all that stuff. And, it's a crapshoot to see if you're actually going to get a democracy and altruistic leaders out of this, or if you're just going to get another cabal of selfish, self-serving sociopaths who take over and clamp down on the population again. Hopefully there's it'll lean towards the democracy side, because any of those sociopaths who want to take over will go, I don't want to get beaten to death in the streets, and they might step back for a while. But I have no idea what the outcome's going to be. But, if times are tough and the government's to blame, well, rip them a new one. That's what revolutions are for. Thomas Paine talked about how the Tree of Liberty need to be watered with the blood of tyrants. So, the founding fathers were predicting a revolution about once every decade or so after the American Revolution. We did not do that. We had one uprising, but it was the racist assholes. We had to push them down. And I wouldn't doubt if we start to see foments of revolution happen with the way the Trump administration is trying to send military into cities, because it looks like Chicago's not going to take any shit. The Chicago police are going to arrest federal agents. The mayor and governor are going to send out, assault trucks to block the military vehicles from moving, and it will be pushback. And the chief of police in Seattle said he fully expects to go to prison. So if ICE shows up to Seattle, he's going to arrest them for kidnapping charges and get them charged under state law, so they can't be pardoned by the president. And that is openly saying, screw you, dude. We will revolt against this. So see where it goes. Polestar also solved that good gold thing I sent you last night. Oh yeah, I need to go look at that some more. There's a gold treasure hunt in Canada for $1 million, I guess Canadian, in gold. And it's a long poem, and there's gonna be 10 clues that come out of it. Excuse me. So I've got to look at that some more and see if Problem is that it's going to get through the cold season in Canada, and you're not going to want to go look for gold until next spring. So that's one way to slow it down. Different line. Anyone that thinks warrants are bullish, think about this. GME will have almost the same number of shares as AMC once they're converted. The different aspect is that GameStop will have about $11 billion cash on hand and no meaningful debt, because the convertible bonds will be able to convert at that point and they'll have no debt. So there'll be a whole bunch more shares, probably closing in on 1 billion shares, but they'll have $11 billion in cash that they can do things with. So that's the big difference between GameStop and AMC. AMC dilutes when the stock price gets to $3, and then they pay off a drop in the bucket of their debt, and then the interest on the debt flies and they're right back where they were. GameStop has no meaningful debt because they've got these 0% convertible bonds, and with inflation, it's essentially they just got free money, is what it came down to. Lisa saw the price for ESTA will double later this month from $21 to $40. ESTA. Oh, it's the travel visa. Ah, yes. Okay. Well, that's that, and then Trump wants to make it $250, so it's gonna climb a lot higher. Yeah, we're just cruelty's the point. That's what it comes down to. Different line. This is dilution by another name in classic Ryan Cohen style. Also means price will not go over $30. Perhaps, unless the warrants get super wild. Yes. Louis says, feed me warrants. Hit the like button, friends. Polestar, GME WS, wonder how this will trade. Ross says these warrants are a bit different and maybe harder to short. It's like ape, but done correctly. It is a dividend. There will be a clock associated with it, with providing those shares to shareholders if you short it. I think the difference with ape was it took a share and it split the shared ape, whereas this is a warrant, a dividend being granted to shareholders. So X number of warrants will go to computer share, So everyone in computer share will definitely get warrants. Any excess warrants left over of the 59 million will then go to the DTC for distribution. And the DTC will distribute those and to head to brokers and whatnot, but it won't be enough. And that's when those who shorted will have to do the payments in lieu. They're going to have to go out and they have to go buy those warrants and provide them to the brokers and the lenders and everyone else. So we'll see what happens with that. The FINRA rules are 90 days from when the dividend is issued. You must provide, or you're going to face automatic liquidation if that's the case. But there could be terms in lendings for this that could make that much sooner or instantaneous, etc. My guess is that we'll probably see a whole bunch of shorts who realize they might not be able to get their hands on these warrants start to close the stock price while they still can. Because remember, it's like if it goes to $32, they're still $7 below that, $8 below that, and so they have a chance to get out now. So the smart shorts would get out now rather than have to face liquidation while the stock is at a much higher price. So see where it goes, man. Lisa Saw says 9 billion cash, a lot more than MC has in the bank. Definitely. Different line. Does it seem like it matters? Are your shares more valuable than a year ago? Are you getting a dividend? Is GME doing anything besides dicking around? Here's one thing I'll give Ryan Cohen. With the cash he has on hand, in order to remain a publicly traded corporation, not considered an investment company, he cannot spend more than 40% of the cash and reserves on investments. So he's got 500 billion in Bitcoin. I don't think that counts as a securities investment. So that's 500 million Bitcoin. I don't think that counts as a security investment. That can sit there sort of as a cash holdings. But of the $9 billion, he can only spend about 40% of that. So he's got $3-something billion he's allowed to actually spend on an investment for merger acquisition as a holding company, etc. So otherwise, the SEC treats him like an investment company, which changes a lot of rules and what they can do. So if he gets $12 billion cash on hand, then he could spend 40% of that. So he could spend like $5 billion or so on investments. So the more cash he has, the larger the pool of his investment wealth becomes to invest without becoming an investment company. And I have hair hanging off my face. So he's got that going for him. The share price still isn't, share price should be $50 a share, but it isn't. And here we sit, wondering why. Louis says the warrant's going to be like ape. No, it'll be different. Polestar, not sure how all these shady brokers will handle these warrants. I'm not sure either. I wouldn't doubt if they put counterfeit warrants into your accounts and pretend like they're the real deal until everything gets sorted out. Different line. It's like a call option, basically. Yeah, it's a one share call option. Lisa saw. Trump turns up at the tennis final, causing all spectators to pass through airport-style security. Match delayed. Many people missed the start. Yep. And he got booed like crazy. Yeah. If you lose the country club crowd and you're a Republican, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. And then he was there publicly. He was there with Jared Kushner and his granddaughter, Jared and Ivanka's daughter, who was very uncomfortable the entire time. She did not want to sit next to her grandfather. She was like, "Don't touch me." She tried to make as much space in her seat as she could from him. Not a very good PR to have a young lady who wants nothing to do with you next to you in public for hours on end. And Trump didn't even celebrate the winner of the tournament. He was like, everyone's like clapping and cheering. He was like, so, I guess because it was a brown guy that won. Different line, though given to the general public, it's going to operate as a poison pill if price ever exceeds $32. Yeah. Polestar, no news on BBYQ? Not really. And Polestar, and this UFO missile thing, what the F is that about? Seems like a distraction. UFO missile thing? Watch missile strike suspected UFO newly released video. How come I didn't hear? Oh, this came out a couple hours ago. That's why. Boom. Chrome. Shabam. Boom. Done. So this is UFO missile thing. And first we got an ad here. Let's just mute that until the ad's done. Come on. Stupid 30-second ad. I just want to see a local boom boom happen. The video clip showing appeared to be a missile being launched at an orb in Yemen was shown for the first time on Tuesday during a congressional hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena in the air, sighting of these phenomena. Okay.
It's taken October 30th.
So that's one of the orbs being tracked.
This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen.
Flying over water.
That another MQ-9.
Oh, wait. Was that the boom boom? Did I miss the boom boom?
Missile, and I'm not going to explain.
That's Hellfire missile smacking UFO exactly bouncing right off. Oh, there it is. Boom. Oh shit, that's a real thing. So there's okay, that thing's being tracked.
It zoomed out.
Well, that's
you
cool.
Still see it traveling. Mr. Knapp, do you have any? Have you heard about events like this occurring, and what information do you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes.
I can't hear it. I don't have my headphones on.
The video,
you guys can hear what's going on.
There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild, and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff.
Okay. That's how do I go back? Cancel.
This was taken October 30th of 2024.
Let's see this one more time.
This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile, and I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
All right, so it's that thing. Bonk. It definitely does not have orb shape. The thing's definitely broke off of it.
This is when it zoomed out, so you can still see it traveling.
That's crazy. All right. That's one of the first cool videos I've seen in a long, long time. So, that one's cool. That one's actually cool. Every other video, they get explained, it's just actually the gimbal inside the lens, or it's, an artifact of light. That is definitely a missile hitting an object, that object tumbling, pieces breaking off the object, and all just continuing on its way. That's cool. That is a cool one. I will give them that. That is very cool. What it is? Fuck if I know. But that's cool. Oh, Julio's sending out super chat here. Russian attack drones have entered Poland, Moldova, and Slovakia. NATO jets activated and several drones shot down. That sounds like an Article 5 attack to me. Especially if it's not just one wayward drone, but several drones in multiple countries. That seems like an attack on those countries. So I don't know why Article 5 has not been getting activated when they say when when Russia attacks a power grid of a country, that should be an Article 5 offense, in my opinion. So, no me gusta. No me gusta. Okay. All right. Drone thingy. UFO thingy. OMS, boom. Happy birthday. He says, treats to the pets, please. Oh, I don't have any treats. I forgot to restock. I apologize, Floor Dog. Will you ever forgive me? The Fat Cat? I have no idea who Fat Cat is. He's outside murdering bunnies or something. Actually, he doesn't kill the bunnies. He kills the voles and the mice. Hotdog Rebel. I don't care if GME goes to 4+ digits or of nothing, or digits of nothing comes with BBY. I still hate RC. There's a lot of folks who, over the last few years, have had to sell off their shares, right? They had to sell off their shares to pay for, emergencies, job losses, medical expenditures, rent going up, etc., who now can't benefit from these warrants. They're like, cool, I had 1,000 shares 2 years ago and now I don't have any left because I had to spend them all, so I don't get to benefit from this. This is what happens when you take too long to push the button. Don't take too long to push. Just push the button. First chance you get, man, hit that button. Why? Because that's when your shareholders will actually benefit from it. So I'm glad that they're doing something, but it is still a form of dilution in the end. We'll see where it goes. Move on. If DK Butterfly is in the claims entity associated with the clawbacks, the waterfall, Michael Goldberg, then why do some brokers say the new Bed Bath company formerly Overstock is DK Butterfly 1? I think those brokers are just confused because they aren't actually paying attention to anything. So how can DK Butterfly 1 be both? It's only both if there's actually a merger involved where, say, the current Bed Bath absorbed DK Butterfly 1, but I've not seen that. I think it's just probably brokers being confused. And Hotbug Rebel says, how can DK Butterfly take so fucking long to do anything? I don't know. Because the plan clearly states that Goldberg and the estate keep going after clawbacks and everything else while the shell company emerges from Chapter 11. So I don't know. I don't know why it's taking so long. I guess we'll see what happens on the 16th is the next hearing for Cohen and Goldberg. So see where it goes. And Logic Cruel, so much misinformation on the warrant here. This is before I started the show, so I don't know what misinformation you're pointing out there, Logic Cruel. Yogi 2012, what crimes do you foresee brokers committing to avoid delivering warrants? Probably counterfeiting them. That's probably the main crime that they'll do. They'll probably create counterfeit placeholders, put them in people's accounts as if they have the real warrant, and if they ever exercise, the broker will just desperately try to find the share for them to make that happen. That's probably the most likely crime they'll do. At least I saw GME shorts should be fudged. Warrants cannot be faked, hypothecated. I hope. I mean, they managed to do it with bonds and everything else, so we'll see. And Chris Taylor, hi there. No questions here. What the fuck is all I have? Yeah, I'm pulling. I read that QSIP currently in the DK Butterfly can't be brought back to life via merger, acquisition, reverse acquisition. Can you explain the mechanics? I'm lost. Mapulin, we never want the old shares back. The old shares are dead. They're gone. They'll remain dead and gone. How we get made whole is if there's a merger, we receive shares in the company that's acquiring the shell. That's it. That's it. So our BBYQ shares, they are gone forever. They will never come back. What we would get in return, hypothetically, is if someone wants the nulls, the net operating losses, they will have to make the bondholders whole, and they can do that via giving them shares rather than cash. And they will have to make the legacy shareholders whole by giving them shares as well in the acquiring company. That's it. That's the entire thing. So if GameStop were the acquiring company, the bondholders would receive shares in GameStop, and the legacy shareholders would receive shares in GameStop. The QSIP for BBYQ would never come back. We would just receive shares in the new company. That's it. So what we want is an acquiring company who gives shares to the bondholders, so that all that cash then goes to the shareholders, the legacy shareholders, and we get shares, and we get warrants, and we get all the good stuff. That's the ideal world. Rupert Trooper, could this GME warrant dividend be the stock that the SEC tax document was referring to instead of the BBYQ? I don't think so. Yeah. Mupolan, can you clarify yesterday's question? Is Michael Goldberg in talks negotiating with JP Morgan or with the previous board of Bed Bath? The plan was September 14th, 2023. Thanks. No. Goldberg sued the former board for basically malfeasance. They violated their fiduciary duty as leaders of the company. They spent $11.8 billion in stock buybacks when they should have been reinvesting in the company and passing dividends along and doing things like that. And that's what ultimately killed the company in the end, were those share buybacks. So they sued for a lot of money. During that lawsuit, it was revealed that JP Morgan, who was not a member of the board and did not have any controlling interests, was telling the board what to do. So when Ryan Cohen came along and wanted to buy the company for $400 million, JP Morgan was like, no, you can't do that. And JP Morgan is the one who told them to do all the share buybacks because they facilitated it. They made a fortune off of doing that. And so it is theorized that JP Morgan paid a settlement to avoid this going to trial, because at trial it would reveal RICO, racketeering on the behalf or by JP Morgan, and that would result in gigantic fines, possibly up to 3 times as much as the damages were, which could be $30+ billion. So the working theory is that JP Morgan settled on behalf of the board members with the estate to keep this thing from going to trial and any more information about this from the discovery coming out. So that's it. Jam, it's got some rockets. Louis throwing some stickers. Jesse, aka Chewy, is throwing some rockets. You come on, I'm Wayne walking into the desert and screaming until I can't speak. It happens. Andy Doolittle, registered shareholder, DRS. Yep. Jason Michael Hasten, win GeoGuessr. Oh, yeah. I was too busy to do GeoGuessr because I was kicking your ass in fantasy football this week. Ah. All right. I do need to do some GeoGuessr. I forget. I get sit down and space out, and then I just don't do GeoGuessr at night. I need to. It's been so long. It has been so very long since I've done some GeoGuessr. And judging from my Twitch stream, people don't actually care about me live streaming on Twitch. I need to start figuring out. I need to get a streaming software that can allow me to stream to every platform possible. That's what I need to do, so that I can stream to Instagram, to Facebook, to TikTok, to Twitch, to Kick, to I don't know what other ones are out there, and just spam Houston out there, and so that a whole bunch of Gen Alpha people are like, why is this old man yelling at me about Trump and stocks? But eyes, I need eyes on. That's what I need to do, and I just don't do it. Houston, Andrew Stewart asks, are we rich yet or what? No. Huge unit. Any advice for engagement rings, diamonds, etc.? I would say don't do titanium. Don't do stainless steel, things that are really hard to get off your finger. Because if you get an accident and you break a finger spraying it and it swells, you can actually lose your finger as a result of not being able to get the ring off. So you want a softer metal, gold, platinum, something in that range. And stone wise, who cares as long as it's pretty? Get a hard stone and it's pretty. That's all that should matter, right? Now, most traditional is a diamond because diamond's highly refractive and they're very hard and super shiny, and people go, oh, when they see a big one. I mean, I don't have a engagement ring or anything. I did make one in the past. The one I made in the past was Montana sapphire that I mined, and it was made from gold that I mined, and so I made it all myself, cut the stone and everything. That's a little eccentric, and you need to be able to know how to mine the stones and the metal and do all those things. So I think, find a stone you like, find a local jeweler who does some cool shit, and have him make you something. It'll end up being cheaper in the end than it would be to go just like to K Jewelers and just pick out some ring they have, and it will have a little more meaning. If you know the ring size of your possibly soon to be betrothed, you can do it without their input, and you can hope for the best. But if you both know that this is what you want, it would help to go together and get the thing that she would like. That's all. That's probably the most important thing. Polestar just showed up on Twitch. Why does old man yelling about Trump and stocks? Anyway, there's lots of cool stones out there, and the really beautiful ones. I would say things with hardness of basically 8 or higher make good stones. So your barrels like emerald, aquamarine, etc. are 8 and harder. Chryso barrels, things like alexandrite, are really beautiful and they change color in the light. Garnets. I really like unique stones, like color change stones. Like color change garnets go from like blue to red. You get the same thing from alexandrites, can do like red, green, green, purple. Depending on if you're in direct sunlight, if you're in polarized light, diffuse light, they'll change colors. I like things that have refractive stars. So you get like a star sapphire. Those things are really cool looking. You can do like highly refractive, interesting stones like demontoid garnets. Demontoid garnets have like, they're kind of a pale green, but the refractive index is really high, so they actually get like a lot of sheen and color come off of them, kind of like a diamond. I wouldn't do opal. Opal's a terrible stone for diamonds for rings because they're really easy to chip and they're quite soft. So you might bonk your ring on something, it'll just chip right off. It'll look beautiful for a while, but it will chip away, and then you'll have a broken ass ring and they'll look like garbage. So you want harder stones. You can go the route of moissanite, which even has a higher refractive index than diamonds, and those are really sparkly. Natural moissanite is insanely expensive, more so than diamonds. So you'd go find a lab created one for that. And if you want the most beautiful stone, you're probably gonna get a lab created stone. They're cheaper anyway. You go on eBay right now and get a lab created, cashmere blue sapphire for $40. Giant one, like 10 carats, and it would look amazing. And it's actual sapphire. It just wasn't mined from the earth. It was made in a lab. So there is a certain romanticism with a naturally mined stone versus something that was created in a lab. Even if the one in the lab is prettier in the end, there's still like some sort of like the earth made this, and not some guy in a lab coat with safety goggles on. But it doesn't hurt to like go on eBay and search loose stones and see what kind of cool stones you can find. There will be cool ones out there. A lot of them will be lab created. If you want lab created, look for ones that are earth mined or have a certification with them that states what they are, that they're earth mined. GIA, EGL, one of those certs that are actually like legit. And then go find a jeweler. You know, you can do cool stuff. Jewelers can do some really cool things. A friend of mine, his dad is a jeweler, like a custom jeweler, and his dad made his wedding ring for him, and he did this like tiger stripe gold. So it was between gold, rose gold, and this kind of like dark, almost bronze looking mixture of gold. And somehow he blended all those metals together. I don't know if he rolled it and then remelted or anything, but it's like the diamond, the gold band looks like tiger stripes, and it's really cool. It's all different qualities of gold inside of there. There's neat stuff out there. So go do it. Or you can take your bride to be and you could go out to like Montana and go to Gem Mountain and go dig your own sapphires, or you can go to Crater of Diamonds and hope to find a diamond in Arkansas, or you can go down to San Diego and go to one of the self-dig tourmaline mines and find like a really cool watermelon tourmaline or something. Like you can go make it really personal, really cool. I think my favorite stone is Mexican fire agate. And I had a whole bunch. I gave a whole bunch away in my treasure hunt. And I wouldn't mind going back down. And because I think if you get one polished up into a really nice cab, it would make the coolest looking ring. And everyone who saw that ring would be like, what the fuck is that? And you'd be like, that's a Mexican fire agate. I went and dug it out of Arizona or California myself. And, I think that makes a much cooler story for a ring, is if like you guys found it yourselves, Maybe she doesn't know that you're gonna propose. Maybe you just take her on a little trip and you go somewhere local that allows you to dig stones, and you dig some stones and you just turn one of them into a ring for her, and then she goes, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" Do stuff like that. Philly Gearhead, wow. Eric, first everyone before is a hoax. Oh, first everyone before is a hoax. I get it now. Fabrizio's plopping. Jesse, aka Chewy. Everyone give him a thumbs up. Subscribe to his channel. Rocket ship. Fabrizio, I moved to Slave Lake, Houston. This lake here is massive. Oh, I restarted my computer. I got to reopen the Google Earth. It's one of the like not quite Great Lakes. So you're way up there. We're way north. That's not Google Earth. That's Google Earth. So Slave Lake is way up here. Oh, it's a big lake. Decent sized lake. How big are you? You are 50 miles across. That's a decent sized lake. So the town, so if you zoom out all the way out here, you're way up north in Alberta. So you're way up yonder where it gets very cold. But the town itself is really teeny tiny. That's the town of Slave Lake right there. That's a little guy. That's a little guy right there. They have an airport. So there's an airport, takes up half the town. It's got some housing developments. Got, what are you? A school? You got a school? Any other pictures of Slave Lake here? You got yourself a fast gas? You have a gas station. I think it's kind of cruel to have a place that far north that doesn't have a covered gas pump. That's kind of mean. What else you got in town here? That is a log building. You have a log building, so congratulations. You have a Rexall, hardly new wall. Is that a drugstore? I have to say, these are the most boring photographs I've ever seen of a town in history. It's like a band getting ready to play. Oh, Slave Lake's got it going on here. What are you? You are... Oh, it's some sort of well service. Okay. All right. Cool. Is that for, like, doing oil rig wells? Ooh, picture of a park? Picture of a park with a hairy man and his children for everyone on the internet to see. All right. Well, welcome to Slave Lake. What are you? Your church. There's a church covered in snow. They got a Walmart. There's a Walmart. Picture of the Walmart. Picture of the produce section inside the Walmart. Look at all that produce. There you go. They've lowered prices on over 1,000 items, just so you know. There you go. Slave Lake. Are you water skiing? You gonna ice skate it in the wintertime? I've always wanted to ice skate a really big frozen lake because we don't really get that here. It just doesn't freeze. If it does freeze, it's like for like 2 days and you can't go on the ice. I've always seen like video footage of people in Canada just like skating on just miles of lake, and I've always wanted to do that, and I've never done it. So one of these days, man, can you do that on Slave Lake? That's what I want to know. Got some boats going around out there. There's some ice flows on the lake. Looks like probably springtime, melty time. There's a little island. Are there any buildings on the island? Nope. That is an unadulterated island right there. Well, there you go. What other cities you got around here? Got a bunch of farmland out this way. Lots of farms out here. A lot of little towns, a lot of little farms. Mostly trees where you are. Some farms to the south. Edmonton. Edmonton's probably the closest big city. How far away? Boing. Boing. As a crow flies. Come on. Give me my line. In here. So 130 miles. So a couple hours. Probably 2.5 hour drive. All right. That can still get you to like an Oilers game, right? Okay. And there's not much else going north. Got another weird group of farm fields up here. This is really far north for farm fields. Canada always amazes me, like what they clear and are able to like do. You're at almost 60 degrees north, and these are wheat fields out here. That's crazy. That's wild. Like nowhere else on Earth do you have large tract farm fields like this. How far north do these farm fields go? You're the most far north. You're at 58.38 degrees. There's another farm here at 58.46. Any other farm fields further north than there? How about here in BC? Is that a farm field or is that just... That's just a field. That's just a meadow. Okay. So 58 degrees north in 46 minutes, some of these farm fields. Any fields up there? Nope, nope, nope. So that's about the line right in there. That's 58.40. So if we go over to... Nope. 58.40. No farm fields anywhere out in Ontario or anything like that. And we go to anywhere close. That's at 56. Well, let's make that north. 58.28. You're not going to really get wheat fields out here. No wheat fields anywhere in the north tip of Scotland. If we go to Norway, do we have any wheat fields that far north? 58.50. I mean, I know farms exist, but I guess, yeah, we got some wheat fields out here. Okay, these guys are going further north. 58.40. This is about the limit. Okay. So Norway's got, because thanks to the Gulf Stream, they've got some farm fields much further north. 59. All right. But Norway's got the Gulf Stream. And then Sweden does not. But they got some fields in here. That's just crazy how far north these things grow. Boggles my mind. And now I'm getting totally distracted and not answering anyone's questions about anything. Okay, I can do like a couple more and then I can run away. Oh, Jiga Shukla asks, does U.S. democracy survive? In its current fashion, probably no. Would be my guess. I think we've gone so far. I don't know if we come back from this without huge amounts of violence. I really don't, because most countries that get this far, it's too late. And everyone stews and things get really bad and eventually the population explodes and then just slaughters wholesale the leadership. people in power better hope that democracy survives. That would be the best thing for them, because if democracy doesn't survive, then it will be brutal murder of leadership. So, but I don't think they're that smart. I think they think, oh, I'll hold on to this power forever. I'm different than the previous dictators. I think that's what they think. And they're not smart enough to reward their followers. So the people who got them into power, farmers, blue-collar workers, etc., are all the ones facing the brunt of the punishment and the cruelty of this administration. Construction firms are dying, farms are going bankrupt, manufacturing's disappearing, and those the core demographics of who supported them. And if you bite the hand that feeds you, that hand ain't going to feed you no more. So those folks will be most pissed off in the end when they realize they were used, right? It's one thing if something bad happens to you, like, oh shit, that's bad. But if you find out something bad happens to you because you were good for someone else, well, that makes a permanent, very angry human being. So, yeah, the best thing the authoritarians in power could hope for is that democracy survives and that they just get pushed out of power again. Because if it has to be revolution, not good. So, yeah. I gotta get going. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow at some point. You guys have a great day. And old school. Bam.